Linfield are into the last 4 of the Setanta Cup. Glentoran fans must be as sick as a parrot. Here's Gary Gillespie.
This morning's headlines were unpleasant reading for any Glentoran fan. Blew away was a popular choice.
I haven't seen any headlines now, thank goodness, but I mean, we didn't deserve anything out of last night. We got beaten 6-0. I felt we got embarrassed, and it's up to ourselves to pick ourselves up now and move on.
Goal number 1 came from the penalty spot on 23 minutes after a Darren Lockhart foul. Andy Hunter scored from the spot. Just over 20 minutes later, Glens fullback Mark Glendenning was red carded for a challenge on Tim Mounsey. And within minutes, Peter Thompson's determination paid off with Linfield's second of the night and his 42nd of the season. In the second half, it was just a question of how many Linfield would score. Paul McAreevy added the third with a delicate chip over Elliot Morris. Number 4 was provided by McAreevy's cross, and defensive stalwart William Murphy headed in. Then man of the match McAreevy scored again from close range to make it 5. And the shell-shocked Elliot Morris was hit for 6 when Peter Thompson added his second to what was already an embarrassing night for Glentoran. Derry City's last-minute equaliser at Shelbourne left Linfield top of their group, with the reward of a home semi-final against Drogheda to come, to the delight of manager David Jeffrey.
The quality of the performance was absolutely first class, and even prior to Glentoran going down to 10 men, we played some cracking stuff, great football, and passed the ball about, and at the end of the day our finishing was clinical. And the icing on the cake was when ultimately, you know, Derry City came up with that draw down in Dublin, and it means we top the group, so that's pleasing also.
The game's gone and we have to move on, but we do have to look at the goals and the way they were scored and the manner in which they were scored, and the players have to realise that. I mean, some of it was just rank bad defending, and we just have to move forward from it.
As football now, and Linfield are still waiting to hear whether they must stage their Irish Cup replay against Ballymena on Thursday night. But last night they were in action against Glentoran in the Setanta Cup. Just 20 minutes gone at Windsor Park, and Linfield went ahead thanks to a superb finish from Thomas Stewart. But Glentoran made it 1-1 10 minutes later, and Gary Hamilton and Willa McDonough set up Jason Hill, who fired in the equaliser to give the Belfast rivals a point apiece.
We would have preferred 3, so maybe a little bit disappointed we didn't get that, but not unhappy with a point. I think on reflection, when you look at first of all the conditions, they were absolutely horrendous. What the players produced on the night from both sides, they deserve a lot of credit. As usual, a very hard fought and competitive game. I think probably we had more of the first half and deservedly went in or scored first. Great goal by Thomas Stewart. Glentoran got back into it. I think probably second half Glentoran shared it in chances, you know, early on, and then we come back into it. So overall, I think a draw was a fair result.
I think it was a good game. You know, it was a good battle. You know, both sides played well, but I felt on chances we could have won 2 or 3 games, but we didn't take them. But we're still in there.
Last night the Blues beat Glentoran 2-1. It was the second meeting between the sides in just 4 days, and the same outcome. Thomas Stewart scored the first goal. Then Kyle Neal equalised from the penalty spot. But Peter Thompson scored the all-important winner 10 minutes into the second half, outfoxing Elliot Morris.
Well, Linfield manager David Jeffrey says last night's Setanta Cup victory over Big 2 rivals Glentoran will have no bearing on their crucial league game on Saturday. David Jeffrey was less than impressed with the way his Linfield team started last night's game at the Oval, especially when Glentoran took the lead as Dean Fitzgerald set up Darren Boyce with just 8 minutes gone. But Linfield equalised through Paul McAreevy just over 20 minutes later, with the help of a mistake from Glentoran goalkeeper Michael Doherty. Linfield performed better in the second half. Only 3 minutes had been played after the break when they went ahead for the first time, as Thomas Stewart's shot was blocked, but McAreevy pounced on the rebound to fire in his second of the night. And the 3-1 win was wrapped up 20 minutes from the end, when Mark Dixon was allowed the space to beat Doherty again. David Jeffrey's side topped their Setanta group, but already thoughts are turning to that vital league clash between the teams at Windsor Park on Saturday.
Tonight was about the Setanta. We wanted to win. Obviously we want to get another set of points on the board. We wanted to stay on top. That was vitally important. Tonight's game has no bearing, absolutely no bearing on Saturday.
The players have done unbelievable since New Year's Day in the league. They've pulled themselves back into contention. You know, I've said to them that we needed to put an unbeaten run together. They've done that, and we go to Windsor with, in my opinion, a winner-takes-all situation. You know, we go there. There's no pressure on us. You know, Linfield are 3 points ahead of us. You know, it's theirs to lose, in my opinion. You know, so we're going to go there and give it as good as we've got.